Welcome back, everybody, to more Final Fantasy VII. Happy Thursday, everybody. And I'm actually recording this very early on because who knows, I might actually be at the hospital on Thursday. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this now, but I hope everybody's had a good week so far. And last time, we met up with Bugenhagen to see if maybe we could figure out some other solutions to be able to handle the meteor problem. And for some reason, our discussion ended up towards Eris. And what was Eris actually trying to do? And this is actually a very good question. If you remember way back in Disc 1, she said, I can stop Sephiroth. That's not verbatim, but she basically said, don't worry about things. I can stop Sephiroth. Let me take it from here. And instead, we followed her, which resulted, not necessarily because we followed her, but it resulted in her death. Now, if everything is inevitable, then why did Sephiroth need to kill a teenage girl? It does actually make you wonder, doesn't it? But before we do that, we're actually going to head back to Junon Harbor because we actually, I needed to get a shop right now in this recording. I needed to get a shop because I've already got a bunch of materia that recently mastered when I grinded. Oh, and everybody say hello again to Priscilla. It's been a while since we've seen her. Stupid jerk, look how much you made me worry. Were you at the live stream? Yeah, that's right. You gotta be more careful because you're gonna marry me one day. There's at least maybe a 15-year gap. No. But it's cute. Priscilla has a crush on Cloud because Cloud saved her. So, this was not the shop. I thought where Priscilla lived was a shop, but no, we just needed this area, and I need to sell off a bunch of brand spanking new materia that came from the mastering of a lot of the materia I'm working on. So you guys will get to see me kind of do this right off the bat. MP Turbo, we're not going to sell that, and the 2 summons. So there you go. Why would you sell summons, Drak? I already have them mastered, and there's going to be a reason why later. Don't worry about it. Let's just say I'm going to be able to give those to other characters, aside from, like, the main party. It's gonna happen. But again, I hope everybody's had an awesome week. For me, we're basically waiting things out right now. It's actually Monday when I'm recording this, and the due date is tomorrow. So we're just kind of waiting things out until, if nothing happens by a certain point, we're just going to go ahead and induce. And so I'm just trying to get as much stuff done before that happens, because as soon as we have baby number 2, I'm probably going to run out of extra time in my day. So the next step we're actually going to be taking on this one is another side quest that you can take on. And even though, like, strategy guides and a few other places suggest that you do this during Disc 3, you can technically do it in Disc 2. And I'd actually recommend you do that. Start it up in Disc 2, and then as soon as you transition into Disc 3, you'll be able to finish it. What is this in particular? Well, we're actually going to get the final weapon and final limit for Vincent. He is that rare occurrence in this game where it does connect with his story, but this is how you get both his final weapon and his limit. You guys have already seen, like, limits and weapons are pretty much separated, except in Vincent's case. Vincent is allowed to have both of them in the same place, and actually we do learn a little bit more about the past events before the events of Final Fantasy VII. And I think I just barely found it. I'm trying very hard not to dive into open areas so that I don't accidentally run into Emerald Weapon. I actually had a little bit of an accident. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's not there. We'll actually hit that in Disc 3, but it's actually one of the harder places in Disc 3. What I'm trying very hard to do is not get hit by Emerald. You can already see him off in the distance. And I've actually had a couple of moments in grinding where I came down and he was right in my face. So let's avoid that. I'm not looking to die by Emerald Weapon's hands, which is probably what would happen at this point, given my lack of preparation. So there is the Junon sub, Where on earth is our... We're looking for a little cave opening that will go into the second continent. But we have to be very careful about it because, again, if Emerald Weapon sees us, we're done. And I think somebody actually was asking, what is that big crater that you keep passing during submarine sequences? I'm not sure, but if I were to take a guess, I would say that's where Emerald Weapon landed after the launch happened at the northern crater. Because you might have noticed, like, there were a bunch of weapons that launched out. We've taken out one of them at this point, but all of them launched from that area and then went to their respective areas on the map. And that's the interesting part about weapon, is that 2 of them are optional, and they are probably the strongest. Well, technically 3 of them are. One of the ultimate weapon technically is an optional, but we are going to be taking him out since you can get Cloud's final weapon from him. Unfortunately, you have to wait till Disc 3 to take him out, though, because then he'll start randomly flying around the map. But then Diamond Weapon and I've called him Amethyst Weapon just because of his purple sheen, but he got taken out of Junin, and I think the next plot-oriented one we're going to take out is Diamond Weapon. Yes, they're all named after gemstones, except for the one that looks like Gojira. And here it is. So the cool part is this little cave takes you to kind of the middle of the second continent, into this little crevice that you could technically access by Gold Chocobo, and we will actually do that in Disc 3 just to avoid Emerald Weapon. But all you have to do is go behind this waterfall, but you have to have Vincent in your party, otherwise it doesn't work. Vincent. That voice. It can't be. Lucrecia. Vincent? Lucrecia, stay back! Now remember, when we found Vincent, he was a member of the Turks, and he had apparently committed a bunch of sins. And that's why he decided initially not to join us, and then ultimately did. Now you're kind of learning his past, and apparently he was having a bit of a romance with Lucrecia, who was a scientist for Shinra at the time. Oh, but look at that. It doesn't really look like him, but that's actually a young version of Hojo. If she is happy, then I don't mind. Hey, look, she's got a crush on Hojo. Oh, wait, what's this? I'm against it. Why experiment on humans? She and I are both scientists. After that, a child was born to Lucrecia. That child's name is Sephiroth. Oh, uh-oh. That is not a good sign. I think the Angel Choir hit her pretty hard. And... Oh! Oh, wait. Hojo killed Vincent? No! Oh, no! And what made it worse, he decided to use Vincent as a guinea pig. Yes, this game has human experimentation. Oh, no. And this kind of explains his limits, where he can turn into monsters. This body is punishment that's been given to me. I was unable to stop Professor Gast and Hojo, and Lucrecia. I was unable to stop them. All that I was able to do was watch. That is my punishment. Aw, Vincent, you're a decent dude. At least it seems like you were. You were a member of the Turks. Lucrecia, you're alive. I wanted to disappear. I couldn't be with anyone. I wanted to die. the Jenova inside me wouldn't let me. Lately, I dream a lot of Sephiroth, my dear, dear child. Ever since he was born, I never got to hold him even once. Not even once. You can't call me his mother. That is my sin. Back! Stay back! Vincent, won't you please tell me? What? If Sephiroth is still alive. I heard that he died 5 years ago, but I see him in my dreams so often. And I know that physically, like myself, he can't die so easily. Please, Vincent, tell me. My fight, fool! Lucrecia, Sephiroth is dead. That is news you never want to give a mom, especially a dead mom. One that has Jenova cells. I'm kind of surprised this didn't end up being a boss fight. Like her all of a sudden just deciding to blame us for it. And there you go. So all you have to do now at this point for Vincent is you come back to this cave in Disc 3 with Vincent. Again, you have to have him in your party. Kind of like with Sid and the Venus Gospel. You can't actually get the Venus Gospel unless you have it. You have Sid in your party. Same thing here. You come back in Disc 3 with Vincent, and you will then get Vincent's final weapon, as well as his final limit. But this also explains a little bit of the history involving Vincent. He was a Turk. He was infatuated by Lucrecia. It doesn't look like she shared that, but we don't know, especially when you add in the lore of the game Dirge of Cerberus. It kind of grays things out a little bit. It looks like she was interested, whereas in this one, it makes it look like she was interested in Hojo. So, not sure. Not sure which is canon, not sure which isn't. But because of the experiment to have a baby naturally with Jenova cells, this created problems. She died in, I believe the way that it goes in the lore, she died in childbirth. And at that point, Sephiroth was orphaned, but Vincent protested and went to confront Hojo. Hojo then decides to kill him and experiment with him and basically make him partially a monster. And therefore, that is his ultimate sin and why he sealed himself up in a coffin for many years until Cloud just happened to come across it. Until then, all those events happened, and he was just sleeping in the coffin. Insert Castlevania joke here. And then he woke up, and Trevor Belmont came and killed him. All right, so on to the next task that we're going to be taking on, which is actually going to be another side quest, but one that we want to do for a final weapon again, is we're going back to Midgar. It's been a while, but when you get to Disc 2, you have an additional option here. So you can see this guy right here. That's funny. Did I drop the key to this gate somewhere? Was it when I was on that excavation tour? Excavation tour, you say? Well, we know of a place that does excavation tours, so let's head up to Bone Village and see if we can figure out this key that he's missing. And we actually want it, because it gives us access back into Midgar, at least areas that you've already explored. So Sector 5, 6, and the Wall Market. So you can get access to those areas. And it's appropriate to do that because we are actually going to go and get Tifa's final weapon from there. Not necessarily the best weapon, but we're going to get it nonetheless. So all you got to do is talk to this guy. The Lunar Harp is somewhere in the ground here. We don't care. We already have it. And all you have to do is look for normal treasure and set up the excavation. And eventually we're going to find the key to Sector 5, which will let us back into Midgar. Now, I know a few people who have played Final Fantasy VII will know, well, you're going to go back to Midgar anyway. Yes, but you won't get access to these areas. And so at that point, we want to be able to get access here. Don't get me wrong. We're going to go into Midgar and get another final weapon that allows us through that access, but yeah, we want to get this one first since we technically can. Trying to do this with as little staff members as possible, because I think it's usually the same place that that the key is supposed to be. So here we go. So staff will dig here. Yay! The staff is doing our job for us. Yay! And then go up to the box. And damn it! I did want to keep that in here. It took a couple of attempts to be able to get the key to Sector 5, but I believe on this one you will actually get the legit attempt where we get it. So don't worry too much about it, guys. Yeah, right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to finish as much side questing as possible so that we don't have to worry about it in Disc 3, because Disc 3 is basically the final grind until we go have our final confrontation with Sephiroth. Obviously, he's the end boss of the damn game. I don't know if that's necessarily spoiling at this point, since Sephiroth is such a popular character. Okay, with 4 people, I should be able to get it this time. So, order a search. You can have a max... I think somebody was actually asking, how many can you have? I think it's a max of 5. You can have 5 people search. And I'm actually going to have my 5th person. So, this way, there's no possible way it could go wrong for me. So, ignite the bomb. Boom! Each staff member will calculate the tremors and face the buried item. Doot, 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 doot. Okay, so I believe if you go right here... That was pretty close. So just choose to dig here. Now the staff will dig here. The result of the dig will be placed in the box. Yay! We have more fun, busy work. Okay, so check it. And there you go. Key to Sector 5. Now we can go back to Midgar. At least to the Sector 5, Sector 6 Wall Market area. And specifically, we need Wall Market. So here we go, back to Midgar, except I'm on the wrong damn continent. Where the heck are you going, past Drak? I don't remember. Oh, that's right. Okay. We're also making another quick detour. So the final weapon is in Midgar, but Tifa's final limit is in Nibelheim. So we're actually going to go grab that really quick. Why are we doing all of this, Drak? We want to be as prepared as we possibly can be so that we don't have to worry about this later. Like I said, Disc 3 is going to be an ultimate grind, and we already have some things that are going to be extremely difficult to have to worry about there. You know, we're not going to worry about Emerald or Ruby weapon. Those are insanity levels of difficulty, but here we go. How'd this go? I remember. So I actually had to look at a strategy guide to get the tune here. And yet it lied to me. So that's actually not the right one. So we're going to play it again. Come on. There you go. Play the piano. Go for it. Go for it, man. I remember. That sounds like a tune. Oh, this actually wasn't the one. Okay. Well. There we go. Play the piano again. You have to do the right melody, and unfortunately the strategy guide I have got one of the notes wrong. There we go. I wonder what this is. Tifa's Secret Savings. 1 gil came out of the keyboard. I've heard this melody somewhere before. Managed to play well. I have the sheet music for that song. Here it is. Wait a minute. There's something inside the music sheet. Tifa, what's happened to our town? Was it all an illusion, or what? Just a dream? No, it was neither. I remember trying to get people out of the flames, but not having the strength. Burning with anger, I went to the reactor to kill Sephiroth. Oh, actually, no, this is supposed to be Tifa's dad, I think. but he was nowhere to be found. Instead, I found you, collapsed inside. No, it's okay, it's who I think it is. I felt saving you was far more important than going after Sephiroth. There were several others that were still alive inside, but I was only able to save you. As I was coming out of the reactor, Shinra troops were just arriving. I recall a scientist named Hojo was in charge. He ordered the troops to gather up everyone still alive for the experiment. I didn't know what type of experiment he was talking about, but I wasn't about to let them have my dearest student. So yes, it's Zangen. Putting you on my back, I headed down the mountain to the village. I used the cure spell on you many times. And started to head for Midgar to look for a doctor for you. I don't like that city, but my cure spells weren't helping. I hadn't leveled the materia enough. I decided to go to Midgar to find a doctor I could trust. I'm worried about you, but I can't settle down in one place for very long. Have you recovered fully? Are you well? I wonder how many years have passed since then. I just got into town again, but I can't believe it. The whole town is back to normal, except for the strange beings with black clothes all around. The town reeks of Shinra, but I won't go after them. You may think I'm running from them, but it's just that I don't want anything to do with Shinra anymore. Feels like time is running out. I'm sure you'll find this letter, and this gift for you. It should come in handy. I can't even jump anymore, but I hope you continue to sharpen your skills and remember what I have taught you. To my most precious student, from Zangen. So there you go. A lot of people were asking, like, if we get another reference to Zangen. Yes, you do. And here it is. So his final gift is her final limit break. Final Heaven. So now that we have that, thankfully, she is all leveled up, so we can just go ahead and give Final Heaven to Tifa. There you go. So we have Beat Rush, Somersault, Dolphin Kick, Meteor Drive. Oh, I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but we have all of them. So now we can just go ahead and equip. So that's it. Now we have Final Heaven, which is basically her full roulette wheels. Being able to do all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 moves. So she can basically lay waste to any battlefield that she's on. Which is awesome, if you think about it, because we also have Red in the party. He has his final limit break. But before we leave, we also do have a little bit of business to take care of in the Shinra Mansion. And this pertains to another character that a lot of people didn't notice you could do this bonus scene. A lot of people were wondering what happened to Cloud after the events of the Shinra or the Nibelheim reactor. What happened after he killed Sephiroth? Well, we're actually going to go ahead and uncover that. And if you don't know this little Easter egg, you're going to find out a little bit more about what happened to Cloud after that, as well as what happened to Aeris's boyfriend, Zack Fair. Now, a lot of people can technically go and play the game Crisis Core to learn his full story, but there was a little Easter egg put in this game specifically for those who were interested in the character of Zack. Unfortunately, though, we are running out of time for this week, so when we come back next week, we will discover the story of what happened after the events of 5 years ago with Cloud and Zack.